I do have one quick thing to say though about these universities, these meccas of Marxist ideology. They're for profit. They make lots of money. They make lots of money. Universities, they make lots of fucking money under capitalism. That's kind of what they do. They're big institutions that make fuck tons of money. That's right, everybody. It's time to go back to school. Time to get your books and your binders and to learn things. It's been a while. Yeah, I know. We're going to do a little Prageru. We're going to go back to our alma mater. It's time to learn. It seems that we haven't spoken about Prageru for some time. I've definitely been laughing at Prageru's tweets. Their never-ending cell phones. I think Prageru is just decidedly trying to become some kind of a corncob university, but that's neither here nor there, because we need to talk about something very serious that affects every single one of us. This is important, everyone. What is identity socialism? This is a new term to me. I haven't heard of identity socialism, but I'm ready to be illuminated, to be taught, to be tutored, if you will, by the good faculty at Prageru. I'm ready for some idpol mixed in and blended with socialism, or what they think both of those things are. So let's learn, everybody.
There's a new socialism in town. I call it.
Oh, I recognize that voice. Does everyone recognize? I recognize that voice. I know what we're in store for. I know what this is going to be about. I'm not going to ruin it for you all, though.
Identity socialism. The old socialism, the kind Carl...
That's right. That's right. Yeah. It's time for Dinesh. Have y'all checked out one of his shitty movies lately? Well, he took a break, He's not making shitty movies. He comes on down to Prageru to teach us about identity socialism. So here we go.
Marx dreamed up was all about the working class, the sort of blue-collar worker who, ironically, voted for President Trump. But today's socialists couldn't care less about the guy in the hard hat. He had his chance at revolution.
So that's it. Marx, basically, the entirety of his work was talking about the blue-collar worker who would go on to vote for Donald Trump. That's the summation of everything that Marx ever wrote or thought. And I'm glad we got that out of the way, because now we can move on to the next topic.
Today's socialist is all about race, gender, and transgender rights. Class.
Oh, okay. So that's what it was. Basically, Marx and socialism, as basically a philosophy, was entirely about blue-collar workers. But that failed, and so they moved on to race, gender, and transgender identity. It's a history lesson for all of you, if you didn't know. But we're learning things together, thanks to Prageru.
To understand this is to understand the left's takeover of the college campus and all the ills that takeover has spawned. From Me Too to Black Lives Matter to girls competing against biological boys.
This is going to be, I think, just the calling card for the next 2 to 4 years, ad nauseum, over and over and over again.
But campus culture has now metastasized into the culture of the whole society. As liberal writer Andrew Sullivan has put it, we all live on campus now. Identity socialism is first and foremost about division. Not just class division, but now race division, gender division, transgender division. Blacks and Latinos are in, whites are out, women are in, men are out.
Oh, so it's about what's in vogue. That's what this is all about. Oh, interesting. It's like, yeah, this is popular now. Oh, no, yeah, no. That's chic. Yeah. Oh, you're a woman. Good. But are you a white woman? You were almost cool. Then you had to go and be white. If you hadn't done that, I mean, definitely, yeah, we would have said, what else you got? Anything else? Can we stack them? By the way, I just want to pull this out for a second. The great thing about this is that they assume this from this is basically post-rationalization. This is the way that you are dividing and stratifying society, and people are identifying it. That's what basically sociology as a topic or a subject was attempting to do, was to identify how we do stratify society based on things that should otherwise be arbitrary, things like race, things like how much money you have, and in more modern times, gender. Yeah, we do that. And so we pointed out that this is what society is doing, but we also point out that the science behind a lot of this is that, a lot of these are social constructs. They're made up. So we shouldn't actually stratify society into a caste system the way we're doing. That's basically what people on the left are trying, I guess, at this point to scream, because they're getting misinterpreted by people like Dinesh D'Souza.
Gays, bisexuals, transsexuals, transgenders are in, heterosexuals are out, illegals are in.
By the way, just I would have put a content warning. I did not know there was going to be slurs in a video saying what is identity socialism, but I guess I misjudged Prageru. I misjudged what they're capable of. So there you are. I apologize, but I guess content warning from here on out. This is probably going to get more ugly. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And it's also sad to learn that the heterosexuals are out. The heterosexuals are out. Finally.
One may think this is all part of the politics of inclusion, but to think that is to get only half the picture. The point for the left is not merely to include, but also to exclude. So where did this identity socialism come from? Meet Herbert Marcuse.
Oh!
Born in Berlin in 1898, Marcuse fled Germany at the dawn of the Nazi era. After stints at Columbia, Harvard, and Brandeis, Marcuse moved to California, where he joined the University of California at San Diego in 1965. You'd think that living in a paradise like Southern California, with all the comforts and privileges of academic life, might have softened Marcuse's Marx-like hatred of capitalism. But it was not to be. If anything, the more he prospered, the more he wanted to bring the system down. He had a problem, however, a big one. Socialism didn't work in America. Life was too...
You know it's big because it gets larger in size. Let's just do an instant replay.
A big one.
Whoa, yeah. At first I was like, well, that just seems like a regular old problem. But then I was, holy shit, this is a huge problem. We have to address this.
Socialism didn't work in America. Life was too good. The working class in the U.S. didn't aspire to overthrow the existing order.
When was America socialist? I missed that in the history lessons. Like, even partially. When did that happen? Because if so, neat.
How could you foment revolution without revolutionaries? Classic Marxism had no answer for this. But almost 100 years after Marx, Marcuse did. The answer was college students. They would be the recruits for what he termed the Great Refusal, the repudiation and overthrow of free market capitalism. Conditions were perfect. The students of the 60s were already living in what was in effect a socialist commune, a university campus. Rather than being grateful to the...
I'm just befuddled at this point. What do you think socialist communes are? What do you think socialism? What do any of these words mean? I used to think that you thought socialism was when the government did stuff. And then I thought you thought socialism was basically whatever the Nordic countries are doing. And then I thought socialism was basically whatever you think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is. Like that's what I thought you assumed socialism was. But I guess it's whatever you want it to be. It's wonderful. It's just everything and nothing. The alpha and the omega.
Parents for providing them with this opportunity to learn and study. They were restless and bored. Most importantly, they were looking for meaning, a form of self-fulfillment that went beyond material gratification. Of course, as with all successful social movements, timing was critical. Here, Marcuse was very fortunate. The 60s was the decade of the Vietnam War. Students faced the prospect of being drafted. Thus, they had selfish reasons to oppose the conflict. Marcuse and his acolytes turned this selfishness into righteousness by teaching the students that they weren't draft dodgers, they were noble resistors who were part of a global struggle for social justice. Marcuse portrayed Ho Chi Minh and the Viet Cong as a kind of third world proletariat, fighting to free themselves from American imperialism. This represented a transposition of Marxist categories. The new working class were the Vietnamese freedom fighters. The evil capitalists were American soldiers serving on behalf of the American government. Marcuse found, in addition to the students' other...
Is he gonna take that any further? He's like, but then we won the war. We defeated them, and everything changed. We sure proved them wrong. Those terrible North Vietnamese.
Groups ripe for the taking. The first was the Black Power movement, which was a militant adjunct to the civil rights movement. The beauty of this group, from Marcuse's point of view, was that unlike white students, its members wouldn't have to be instructed in the art of grievance. Blacks had grievances that dated back centuries. Through another Marxist transposition, blacks would become the working class, whites the capitalist class. Race, in this analysis, took the place of class. Another emerging source of disgruntlement was the feminists. Marcuse recognized they too could be taught to see themselves as an oppressed class. This, of course, would require a further Marxist.
We're going to have to teach women how they're oppressed, because they'll never figure that one out on their own. If they're not taught that they're oppressed, well, they'll just go on blissfully living their lives. It's not as if they'll ever start any movements. It's not as if suffrage will be a thing. None of that. No. We're going to have to explain to them that they're oppressed. If not, well, I mean, they'll just go on blissfully.
Women would now be viewed as the working class and men the capitalist class. The class category would now be shifted to gender. Marcuse recognized that educating and mobilizing all these groups, the bored students, the aggrieved blacks, and the angry feminists, would take time. But he wasn't in a hurry. Soon enough, the radical students would be the radical professors, teaching identity socialism to a fresh crop of impressionable recruits.
That was the worst part about him. He was patient. He knew deep down that if he just worked hard, he could turn college campuses into revolutionary playgrounds.
Over time, Marcuse believed...
Like, are you really trying to sell this on the long game? Is that it? Is that the whole conspiracy theory going down here? And he achieved this, and this is why we now have identity politics? This is the birth of it all? I mean, this one is outlandish by Prageru standards.
The university could produce a new type of culture, and that culture would then spill into the larger society to infect primary education, the news media, and entertainment. Even big business, the hated capitalist class itself, would succumb. He was right. Identity socialism has arrived. I'm Dinesh D'Souza for Prager University.
Oh, that's what identity socialism is. It's still undefined. Well, I guess socialism is undefined as well. I do have one quick thing to say though about these universities, these meccas of Marxist ideology. They're for profit. They make lots of money. They make lots of money. Universities, they make lots of fucking money under capitalism. That's kind of what they do. They're big institutions that make fuck tons of money. Dinesh D'Souza, they're not these liberal indoctrination centers set up solely in order to put people out into the world and have them begin strange leftist, revolutions on the behalf. They're very, very profitable. They're very wealthy, very, very rich, very, very, very rich. So much money. It's almost like it's a problem they make so much money. If you want us to advertise your channel or work, please go to weareserfs.com and email us a 20 to 30 second ad, and we'll take it on to the end of one of our videos to help promote your leftist channel or progressive something. Whatever you do.
To our gods, Anra, Xander Corvus, Schlatsky, we look to the stars for your divine guidance. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are merely puppets for your amusement. To our lords, Trevor R., Alexander Thaler, Hans Josephine, Ryan Lubin, Timothy K. Meeblebeeps Jr., Bisexual Black Gamer, and Tofox, we shall carry your banner into the fog of war. To our Knights of the Round Table, Josh Mickelson, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, Todd Lajeunesse, Political Puppy, Jimmy Bignuts, Andreas Chiringuito, Yoppie, Violent Orchard, Sophie Baby, Thomas Barrington, J. Fraser Cartwright, Goofalankius, Melissa Murphy, Nicholas Marks, Radical Maniac, The Great Pudini, Kale Kotka, Anthropophagic, Serene 42, Chronic de Hemphog, Phone Jenny, Incosin, Constance Joyce Lacheris, and Ramon Acosta. We drink with you and we salute you.